Nigerian rapper and activist Folarin Falana, popularly known as Falz, has said he attributes the name of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to hardship. Falz said this in response to a question that was asked during an interview. The softwork singer had been asked by the interviewers, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, when you hear the name President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, what comes to your mind? And he responded, hardship, no elaboration. Falz is a vocal critic of bad governance in Nigeria. Last month, Falz tackled President Tinubu over the killings of more than 200 people in Benue State, accusing him of failing in his most fundamental responsibility as a leader. In a strongly worded post shared on X on June 16, 2025, in response to President Tinubu's statement on the killings, the rapper expressed deep frustration at what he describes as a repeated pattern of government negligence amid growing insecurity across the country. He says, and I quote, "You have consistently shown that you are incapable of performing the primary duty of securing the lives and property of your citizens. This routine statement does not cut it," he said. President Tinubu's statement came after being called out online for by many people who perceived his silence on the matter. Now, I would really want to get your take on this one. First, attributing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's regime to a hardship. What's your take on it? And why does it seem like when we go from a previous government to a current government, we tend to have that feeling of
frying pan to fire,
or missing the previous government? It comes as though there is something that is better off. While we were still crying, we still cried. It was the same cry that we were crying initially that we are crying, but right now it's feeling like we are crying even more. What's your take on this, though?
Eric is setting me up. Politics is something I try to avoid, but in this case, it's simple now. It's simple. There are things that touch the common man.
Yeah.
There are things that touch the common man, and there are things that the government works on that the common man does not feel at all. Now, I'll give an instance. The day he assumed office, he released a statement regarding fuel price.
Yeah.
Instantly, that very night, all fuel stations jacked up their prices. And then he later came out to try and backtrack. Oh no, it's not going into effect yet. What does that do? What does that do for the... Because you can't take it back. You open Pandora's box. Now you want to put it back in. Fuel jumped quite literally overnight. It was what, 200, 300 fuel moving. If it was to move crazy a bit, 300-400. Buy a decent amount of fuel, you keep. If you spend 5-6K on fuel, you have fuel. You know you bought fuel. Carry a 25-liter keg to this thing, you spend like 10K is too much. You have filled it up, 5-6K. Then you come into office and you just make a statement without any sort of cushion effect or any cushion in place to shield. It took a while for people. And the thing about Nigerians is they know how to bend over backwards. Things that other people will not take, Nigerians will take, and they will find a way to thrive.
Nigerians will take and find a way.
Nigerians will take the treatment and still find a way to thrive. So it's all about asking practical questions. False statements, a lot of people can come out to be like, it's false. But look around, the cost of food. A lot of people keep saying the middle class is disappearing. Now it's not you're rich or you're poor. We're moving to that point as a country where it's going to be either you're rich or you're poor. So the statement is not false. if we look at it objectively, it is not false. We look at the facts, we look at the figures.
So anytime you hear the name President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, what comes to mind?
Eric is trying to set me up. Anytime I hear the name, like I said, I avoid try as much as possible to avoid political conversations. But if I hear the name, it's lack of government accountability. Lack of, for me, I'm not going to be as blunt as far as it's lack of accountability. Now, Benue State, for example, the Benue State issue. Yeah. Imagine having to be called out. Like there was a point where our politicians used to care enough. This is why I said lack of government accountability. There's a point where our politicians used to care enough to put on a bit of an act.
Yeah.
It would have been, press statements flying everywhere. We strongly condemn. Somebody would have been fired somewhere just to prove a point. Somebody would have been like sacrificed at losing their employment just to prove like, the government is actually taking action. It was mostly for, I believe, for theatrics. But they were putting that show because they're like, okay, we have to show these people that we are doing something. But now it's like, 200 people died. Right? 200 people, that's... they said we have not put out a statement. Right, my bad. Let's release something. Tie or draw something up. Let's post. Yeah, we have to show people that we care about them. That's what the response now feels like. It's like it's gone from performing theatrics for the sake of optics. Now, like, what are they going to do about it now? I will only preempt you. You know, you've not asked me. I will only preempt you. That's what is going on now. Even till today, has any statement been, we've arrested a number of people? That statement didn't mean anything. It carried zero. The weight of a president carried zero weight. Zero. Not an arrest has been made. Not a...
we know.
That we're aware of. Not an arrest has been made that we're aware of. People continue to fear for their lives. And it's just a very sad thing. I come to find out now from my aunt, we're talking about this thing this morning, and a colleague of hers, a pharmacist, because she's a pharmacist was killed on his farm in Benue State. He's a well-to-do individual. But they love to go back home and farm, and he has a large farm. But he was killed on his farm. This is part of the problem. And it's something I'm passionate about because I have family. My mom's side, they're from Benue State, Otukpo specifically.
Wow.
So like every time I hear of a crisis, my heart is just skips a beat. Since I lost my mom, I've not gone to visit her grave because Benue State is not safe. It's not since her burial, I've not gone back to visit the site, and Benue State is not safe. If I tell my dad, I'm just going to pop see what's going to happen, I'm just going to go to Benue State. I want to see the grave, and the whole family is going to panic. Where? What are you doing? No, go to Abuja, go to... And I will end up spending my entire holiday in Abuja because of that insecurity. And it would not be nice if I like pushed ahead and like insisted on this one and then something happened to me. Yeah. Now the pressure on it just compound things for my family. So I have to be considerate. So when Falz releases this kind of statements, perhaps I wouldn't be as strongly worded as him. But it just shows a lack of government accountability. Gone are the days when they even tried to put up theatrics to try to convince people. Now it's like, we will only preempt you. What are you going to do?
Well, this is actually sad. But one last question before we move on from this particular story. Now, should President Tinubu be held solely accountable? I mean, he's the head. He's the commander-in-chief, right? He's the commander-in-chief, but should he be held responsible solely, personally, for the insecurity and hardship in Nigeria? Or are there other factors too, or are there other factors in play and other people that he has also assigned these duties to that are not doing their bid also?
Key thing I'm going to say is GCFR, Grand Commander of the Federal Republic. If your appointments are failing and you cannot change them, that's on you. If it happens once, like okay, once bitten twice shy. Once bitten twice shy doesn't even apply. It happens over and over and over and over again in different states. That's not going to the point where killings are like, we look at killings and it's like, 200 people were killed.
It's not becoming
sad stuff. Anyways, 1,000 people were drown in flooding. Anyways, you know, so it's just something to just glance over. It's like, oh, 50 people were killed. That's crazy. Swipe. 20 people were killed in this. Swipe. A couple was killed when swipe. I don't watch news. I genuinely don't watch news. My aunt knows that I need to watch more news. But every time I watch it, I'm like, or even Twitter, I try to avoid Twitter. My show in school, we take a lot of trends from Twitter. And then when I'm there and I'm going through it, I'm just like, damn. You see the news sometimes and it's like, I try to avoid conventional news channel and then I'm now running into the same stories on Twitter. It's like, it's genuinely quite depressing. Everybody else is answerable to you. If they are not, you can't tell me there's not a single person. You can't pick even a single person from the streets. Or if you just put a random poll out, okay, send in your application. You can't tell me you won't find one single Nigerian that can take the job. Whether you talk about the hardship, or we can't find somebody competent in finance. We can't find somebody competent in security, not just the military. Let's talk about the police, harassment. We had a conversation on air today, and one of the other OAPs there, he was talking about his arrests, saying applying the emo, but he has to call his whole family member, he has to call everybody, he has to, because he knows he will get in trouble. And then we talk about these things, and then nothing happens. No change is being made. A statement was made. Oh, we're going to take up as much, we implore we use strong language. We use strong language that doesn't mean anything. You tell 1,000 stories, 0 lessons, zero meaning. How can, if the president releases, like I said, that's why I'm particularly pained that the words of the president, if he's actually trying, then his words are losing value. Which I don't know which is words. If he's not trying or if he's trying and his words are losing value. Because how can the president make statements and then, like we know of, most action is being taken care of? Let's move away from being mistakes. Just in general, the economy. People are finding food is now become 3 square meals are now becoming a luxury. The other day I was coming back from I saw a woman and her child. And I didn't really have much on me, but I looked at it and I'm like, the way this thing, like, I saw I was looking so dejected, and I'm like, even if I would trek home, let me this small thing in my pockets, let me just in her hand. Just my mom wanted to lie down on the road. I had to like, no, hey, don't do that, like, because
it now became an
I was like, no, don't stand up, yeah, on top this smaller, no, please. But that's what people are going through. We're talking about building a 30 kilometer or however, is it 30 kilometer they commissioned? I think that was what they said, it was commissioned, 30 kilometer. Good and fine. Oh, well and good. That's in Lagos, right? Yeah. What does that do for the person that hasn't eaten today somewhere in Niger State? What does that do for the insecure farmers in Benue State? So many, if we continue to focus on aesthetic projects, how much was said to be to renovate the conference center in Abuja?
Don't even mention.
What was the rationale? A fraction of that money would have gone towards scholarship programs. Our president went to St. Lucia, handed out scholarships. We are giving Nigerian youth loans. No fund. Okay. Okay. You know, we'll give our doctors to St. Lucia. How many doctors do we have? You go to hospitals, you see crowds that are waiting to see doctor. I hate going to, and if it's not a private hospital, I just don't like going, but private hospitals are expensive. Sometimes you go to a healthcare and then you just meet a crowd and you're like, yeah, if I were an emergency, I'll be dead, because what is this? And genuinely, what is this? You know, when I was in Abuja, I was on admission. I watched no less than 3 people die around me. Jeez. When I was in the emergency. It was a little girl, it was a woman, there was a guy. 3 people died. I was there, I was conscious, but I was like too tired to do anything. 3 people died around me. There was no quick response. It was just a mess. The healthcare system is failing. They were talking about the hospital that they now have to remit straight to the government. So now, if they want anything, to pay for anything in the hospital, they have to first write or appeal, and then they will not be. What?
With all these things going on, what's the fate of the Gen Z, the young man, the young lady out there?
You see, this is why I'm proud of the resilience of Gen Z. We are surviving with what we have. Like I said, project management is not what my guy is new. Like I tell him every day, I'm building for something.
Yeah.
I'm working towards something bigger for myself. The company will grow, and I will do my best to make sure it grows, so everybody benefits. But at the end of the day, my heart is not here. My head is here because I know that this is what pays my bills. My heart belongs to a bigger dream. And with the same with a lot of Gen Zs, it's like we will push, we will find a way to survive. A lot of people that they're writing gigs. Some people are doing freelance writing. Some are writing for organizations. Some are just taking up so many things to pay the bills. So and that's why the lighting situation. My street now, they still are armored cables for the transformer. We've not had lights in like 2 weeks. Every day we're burning for because work has to get done.
Yeah.
Your employer is not going to be like, oh my God, you're in Nigeria, you guys don't have like that. Is so sad. You know, I'm going to give you extra time. No, they're going to be like, you have a deadline, you meet your deadline, you get paid. You don't meet your deadline,
nothing for you.
Nothing for you. So we will keep. If the system were just slightly in our favor, lights were just slightly more constant. We wouldn't even, if just electricity alone, we wouldn't even need as much fuel. We wouldn't even need all these solar panels that cost 3, 4, 5, 6 M to get a good solar panel installation. But we focus more on politics, so yeah.
Now, you're seated right in front of the President of Nigeria, GCFM, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, yeah? Provide a solution to give a suggestion to the president on the state of the country. Give a suggestion to a way to go to better move the country from where it is now to where you think it should be, because it's easy for us to actually sit back here and say things, but then what's...
Cut lawmakers' salaries, cut political wages, propose a bill to cut political wages. We are paying so much. You see, Nigerian politicians, in terms of percentage, and the most in the world. You have a car allowance, you have fueling, you have... What are they doing with all these allowances? What's a sitting allowance? Wardrobe allowance? Like, let me say I pretend to understand the wardrobe allowance. Let's say we have to look, our patients have to look good. What are we doing so much? Why is our government so expensive? We run one of the most expensive governments in the world. Why? Why? Politics is supposed to be an act of service. You take up of a lot of US senators have second jobs. They have second jobs because, like, okay, yeah, they understand that this office that I'm holding is not for my personal enrichment.
Yeah.
And I am answerable to the people. If I start enriching myself and questions come out, I will face punishment. But in Nigeria, it's like you hear of governors, ex-governors stealing money, and then they get national recognition, get a street or this thing named after them, get a project named after them, and it's like, So what you're teaching people now is there is a reward. You just have to be a bigger criminal to get rewarded. Yes, because the amounts that these people are taking, we know the former governor of a certain northern state that was accused of stealing billions. But then when EFCC went there, the police stopped them. Look at the police stopped. If I were to say, cut the cost of our government, cut it, whether it's 40%, whether it's... In fact, at this point, I'll take 30%. Just cut it and put it in things that matter. Healthcare. Education. Ignorance is being weaponized in this country. The ignorance of a lot of people is being weaponized. If people were aware, like able to make smarter decisions, and they were given the ability to implement those smarter decisions, Nigerians, we have so many youths with beautiful initiatives, but they will never get the platform. They will never get the funding And then at the point, the dream just dies. Because you push and you push and you push and the system just keeps pushing back. And then if you're not someone that's fortunate enough to have exposure through the media, you die with your brilliant narrative. You die with your brilliant idea. There needs to be more like hunt for like actual people with solutions. You can host maybe a Google talent for most practical, or a Shark Tank where the government funds projects. Maybe let's say even if 90% are not successful, a good number of those projects will be successful. You're creating jobs because you're empowering people to employ others, and you're building your economy and getting electricity. Why is our grid? What is the word? Is it hypertensive or? You can. There's a place where if they take light for 2-3 days, you're like, has the grid fallen? You now see a memo, national grid has fallen. Why is our grid
falling very
on life
often?
support? Our grid is on life support. They need to call, the doctor should go in there and check. We need, these are practical, what I would say, healthcare, security, like places, food, provide initiatives for farmers. I was talking to my cousin the other day and I was like, I feel farmers shouldn't have to pay taxes or any sort of government levies because they provide an essential service. And I was like, yeah, you can't really say that. And I understand the reason. You now create a special, but that's a topic for that. I feel a lot of farmers should be like receive as much exemptions as possible and as much security this thing as possible. States that are key to the food infrastructure of your nation, you deploy as many to. If anywhere that there's small, declare a state of emergency, weed out the troublemakers, allow these farmers thrive, allow them do what they do. And then at the end of the day, it's all for the good of your country. It's all for the good of your country. So, healthcare, electricity, because we are finding a way to survive. Give us light that will enable us to our work, that enable us to meet our deadlines, so we can survive. Education. So many people are, should I say, abuse. They lack one because there's no gain. Like, what are you? Okay, now you are in the streets, you are shouting at people, you are, I made this, I made that. Anybody can just come and use it for violence, and you're like, but if you're a reasoning individual, you're educated, you're like, how can I benefit those people around me? How can I be of benefit to the society? Oh, you want to pay me to constitute violence? Why? What does my country gain if I carry out this electoral violence? If I carry out this crime against this, security, young guys are be scared to move around. You're a genuinely hardworking person, but you're scared to move around. Imagine buying a vehicle, because I love driving a lot. Like, driving is the most relaxing thing for me. And I feel I enjoy it in Abuja. Fortunately, we have good roads, so I love driving a lot. But imagine like a case where I want to go for a drive, but I'm not thinking, I'll meet police. Well, let me just. But the car is, it's my dad's. It's paid off. I'm not a criminal by any stretch of the imagination. I work hard for what I have. But I still have to worry about the people that are meant to keep me safe. I have to worry about those that are meant to keep me safe. Young guys don't really. Our biggest worry isn't really like criminals now. There's always that worry about criminals. But as young as you see police on the road, you're like, I start checking myself. Okay, but I'm not a criminal. I didn't do anything wrong. But like, what's that thing on me that they can be like, hey, you, hey, this, hey, this. People like talking about the way I dress. I'm like, yeah, I dress the way I dress because it helps me a lot. I'm coming back from school one day. We're all 4 guys in a cab. They pulled 3 guys out. I wanted to come out with my senator and all that. They were like, no, you sit down there. I'm like, okay, cool. And I saw they searched all the guys. They even detained one.
Wow.
The rest of us were on our way. So I looked away because I'm worried about the people that are meant to keep us safe. It's bewildering, So practical solutions. Let's get our grid. Even if we cannot increase the kilowatts, why don't we just get it constant? For as much as it can be, let's get it constant. If we have 4, 5, 6 days of light, like real, maybe I'm not going to say uninterrupted power supply, but 4, 5, 6 days of constant light, in a week. You go to the hospital, it's people are being attended to promptly. Farmers are being given initiatives, they are being the government subsidies. So these are practical. You cut the cost of government, running the government. Cut the cost of running the government. Everybody's using 7-8 escorts. What do you need it for if the country is actually safe? So these are practical, solutions that we can look at, as opposed to just
practical solutions from the incredible Ehichoya Emmanuel Ekide. Really, thank you so much for those practical solutions, and I hope, Mr. President, you've heard it from the young man's perspective. Yes, we are also part of the country, and we are also in the heat of what is going on. Thank you so much, Ehis, for those thoughts, actually.